Of 11 people in a Cape Town church, political leaders in South Africa pledge not to be deflected from the path of political reform. 4 men throwing grenades and firing automatic weapons burst into the church late yesterday in the predominantly white suburb of Kenilworth. Today the ANC called it a monstrous crime against humanity carried out by the enemies of democracy. President F.W. de Klerk said the murders introduced a new and horrifying element into the cycle of violence, and he announced a substantial reward for the capture of the killers. The massacre overshadowed today's unveiling of the draft constitution for a post-apartheid South Africa. It proposes elections on the basis of one person, one vote, effectively a charter for majority rule.
Disbelief is registered on the face of the Law and Order Minister, who's offered the equivalent of a £50,000 reward in the hunt for the killers. He said the sadness he felt last night has turned to anger.
They can expect no mercy from the government, from the police or the courts whatsoever. That must be clearly understood. But I think that this is not the new South Africa. The new South Africa, we're still on our way to it, and it must look better than what we've seen in this church here today.
President de Klerk is conscious not only that lives have been lost, but that a huge white constituency, anxious about political change, now feels especially vulnerable.
This attack is an indication of the desperation of extremists who wish at all costs to prevent a peaceful, negotiated and democratic solution.
For the survivors in hospital, a moment for prayer.
That they will be stopped in their evil ways, so that this country may at last come to know peace.
And then the condemnation.
The bulk of the people are tired of the violence. People want peace, they want security. It's only a small group that are able to sow all this mayhem.
The attack on St. James's proved there is no sanctuary from the violence that claims lives every day in South Africa. Here, as people prayed for peace, 4 men attacked, spraying bullets and lobbing hand grenades.
I have 3 children, and the youngest is just turning 14 now, and his mother won't be seeing his 14th birthday.
This is the action of a very small minority group, and that the major people of South Africa want peace.
The attack came, no doubt deliberately, on the eve of today's unveiling of a new constitution for South Africa. Just when the country needs consensus, the right-wing Conservative Party and Zulu-based Inkatha Freedom Party are boycotting the talks and rejecting the constitution as biased in favour of the ANC and government.
We believe that we should move on more quicker in the light of all these acts that are taking place to achieve a settlement as quickly as possible.
The struggle for political power has long been violent here, but what we're now witnessing is the sinister work of extremists for whom anarchy has become the ultimate goal.
In the townships, meanwhile, a reminder that political violence for blacks is an everyday horror. Here, a police vehicle was ambushed. Across the country, 70 people died over the weekend, most of them in townships. John Harrison, BBC News, Johannesburg.